Here is the 2025 Range Rover Velar Dynamic SE in the new gray color with the Raven blue interior. New this year, we're going to get an animate for the lights whenever you're locking it for the front and the rear. It will also have an auto unlock walking up to the car, so you no longer have to use the key fob. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and we're going to touch bases on some pros and cons. The problem that I have with the Velar and comparable rivals: the front starts off with auto leveling headlight assembly. LED for daytime runnings, the headlights and the turn signals. It integrates into the gloss black grille, Range Rover badging blacked out. We also have the black exterior pack, plus the dynamic handling package, which will alter the ride height. You're going to just be a touch over 8 inches of clearance with this. With the standard suspension, you'll be at almost 8.5 inches of clearance. But the benefit is you're going to get nearly 23 inches of fording through water. Whereas with the regular suspension, you'll get nearly 21 inches. Gloss black is going to be on the lower with front and rear parking sensors and a touch of the gloss black on the blades for the side with a 360-degree reverse camera. They option 2 engine power trains. We have the P250. When you go up to the HSE, which was new for last year, that's the P400, which has 395 horsepower. But optioning it this way, will it be something that lags in the sense of power with the 2.0 liter inline 4-cylinder turbocharged, producing 247 horsepower and 269 pound-feet of torque? That's paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission. It's going to achieve 22 mpgs for the city and 26 mpgs for the highway. The dynamic handling package not only gives you an electronically controlled suspension, but you also have different configurations for your dynamics and adaptive dampers. We got upgraded 22-inch wheels, multi-spoke gloss black, and those red brake calipers are also part of that dynamic handling package. The gloss black elements continue on the side with the deployable door handles, towing up to 5,291 pounds. If you option the roof rails and the crossbars, you can put 174 pounds. So this off-road vehicle is not just a stylish SUV, it's something that can be used on or off pavement, which when you're thinking competition like BMW, Mercedes, Audi, even Porsche, none of them are going to be in the same class segment. They're going to be more towards sport and luxury. This captures a bit of all of those worlds. Range Rover takes it a step further, and you're still getting a 0 to 60 at 7.1 seconds with a top speed at 135 miles per hour. Optioning the P400 will get you 20 miles per hour faster and dropping it into the low 5 seconds. LED taillights, and the lower is going to be a little bit more settled, but when you're thinking P250, you're not wanting it to look like the SVR used to look, which I wish they didn't discontinue. The V8 supercharged, that thing was a beast. We will be receiving a full EV later on this year off of the EMA platform, and it is going to be able to get up to 800 volts of charging for super quick charging times. This is still off of the D7 platform, and ticking the box for the P400, it's only going to give you a couple 100 pounds extra in towing. So really, it's more for the quicker speeds than all of the capabilities, because you can still get everything that has with the P250. Power liftgate going into 30.9 cubic feet of storage. It sits up a little bit, but the opening is going to be wide, and you have this little lip here that'll catch any bottles that's rolling. Bag holders, you're going to have a total of 4 of them. 2 on each side with a 12-volt. Little storage nook underneath the floor. Gets the spare tire. And to split fold the rear bench, unfortunately, you have to go into the back seat to get the additional 62.7 cubic feet of storage. And it will drop maybe an inch or 2 whenever you put it down at that 60-40 split. Twelve-way power seat adjustments for the front, heated and ventilated because we have it packaged with the grain leather with a memory for the driver. Headroom and leg room. It's going to have a wide area for the footwells, but no pass-through, and this sits up a little bit. When they refreshed this, if you remember, used to have a screen configuration here, and you would have another screen up here, and the screen that was here was derived for the climate control, or you could just have the physical buttons because maybe you don't want to upgrade it. But now it's all integrated into the 11.4 Pivi Pro, which has navigation, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming Bluetooth audio. We have the weight sensing, heads-up display, reverse, has the 360-degree reverse camera, and the park assist. That's part of the tech pack. You can also go for the off-road look, so you can see everything here for the pinch and roll. When you click onto these icons, which are camera points, you can see everything on those areas, and you can just simply go around the vehicle here. Dual climate control settings, which you simply click here. One thing about this system is it is a little slow in response, but you can speed it up whenever you're doing your climate control, heated, ventilated seats, things of that nature. But I have noticed that whenever you're going into settings, even just sliding it, you see it can have that. The nice thing though is they have this shortcut which you click onto Eco and you can change the driving modes right there. The dashboard is going to be more simplified with the piano black, and the air vents are going to be stationed in the center. Auto dimming rear view mirror with a long panel moonroof, and working in here you'll get a wireless charging pad, USB with a tray that you can put the key fob, and here it is. More cleaned up and simplified with the palm holder for the gear lever. These move forward and they open up one by one to a medium-sized storage pocket with a USB port. Steering wheel is 3-spoke. You get the gloss black, multi-function, and multi-functionality. So when you click onto that, it will change this so you can configure the digital reader, in which you have a lot of different configurations here. So I'll just kind of show you a couple different options. This is the one dial, and you can change everything from the left and the right and the center. So you have a lot of options to reconfigure this, and if you want a large navigation, you can also do so there. But I usually like to leave it on the 2 dial and keep the navigation in the center. Meridian sound system, 400 watts. The dashboard and the door panels configuring together, and they keep the same materials. So I do like that, and I like how this bulges out because it just keeps that retro look, especially with the blue and the black. It's a good mixture. One touch up and down for all the windows with a medium-sized storage pocket. Back seats headroom and legroom with storage behind both of the front seats. Air vents, USB ports, and a 12 volts. Cup holders with an armrest, and the door panel will have the same configuration as the front, and pretty much the same size storage pocket as well. And you kind of have a holder here, even though it's a grab handle. You can put a smartphone with connections for the back seat so you can hang up your clothes. Sliding into the center, the floor has a little bit of a hump. The rails are not pushed up enough, so you will be sharing a little bit more toe to feet space. Leg, butt, and shoulder space is going to also be kind of compromised a bit, especially if the seat is pushed back. If it's in the position that I'm at, 6'3", it's not going to be an issue, nor is headroom. 247 horsepower, 269 pound-feet of torque. See how she rock and rolls. And when you're buying a Range Rover Velar, you're not buying it for performance, but 7.1 seconds is pretty quick for the segment that it's in. At the price, I kind of wish it was more in the 6-second margin, because it starts going into vehicles that are not necessarily in class with it, but it will keep up with traffic. It doesn't feel like it is heavy or lag, so that is a good thing. It does feel a little bit wide in the lane, and a lot of that is because you have a lot of interior space because they've cleaned up this center console last year. But optioning the P400, it is going to be a little bit more quicker. You will feel that, but it's still not going to be something that is like a sports car or a sports SUV. Not a huge fan of the auto start stop, does it even on dynamic mode, and I'm not a huge fan of everything being in the infotainment screen. The steering wheel has a little bit of weight, but that's to be expected for an off-roadsy vehicle. I do like when you put it into comfort, you'll see the RPM on your heads-up display when you're optioning the tech pack. It's a quiet drive, and we have upgraded 22-inch wheels. The seats are comfortable. That's going to take me to some pros and cons, but first we're going to check that turn radius, which is going to be about 3 lanes. It's just regular. For it to be motivated, you're gonna have to hit about 2.5 to 3 RPMs. Some of the pros is you have the off-road capabilities. You have a lot of luxury amenities. The sound deadening is great. Options for electronically controlled suspension, so it can be a little bit more plush or a little bit more rugged, putting it into a dynamic mode. It's not going to be the best in class for towing capabilities, but tech, it is up to date. It does have a little bit of a lag, which is a con. Some other pros is you actually get metal paddle shifts instead of plastic. So when you're thinking about any competition, usually you're spending over 100 grand for that alone. Another pro is the styling for the curb appeal. It just sets itself apart because it's more plush and yet sporty, and they bring that in the interior with a little bit of an upscale luxury vibe. It's going to have some harder materials, but it's to be expected because it is more of an off-road / on-road vehicle. Even though you're not going to be doing full capabilities off-road, I like that you can still do that with the Velar. And over 22 inches you can ford through water when you go to the electronically controlled suspension. So nearly 2 inches more than the standard. That's almost 2 feet. This is around 15. Now that wasn't dynamic. If you change it into comfort, there will be a little bit difference in the drive. Some cons is the interior is a bit dark. They like to use dark colors. They don't typically brighten it up at all. Everything through the infotainment screen, which would be a little bit easier to operate if they had a few physical buttons, especially for the sound system, because to turn on and off the volume, it's on the passenger side, not on the driver's side. I like that we have some quick wedges, but you do have to take your eyes off the road multiple times in order to configure anything that you're doing, especially if you're doing it on a pinch, because there isn't any switches. The simplified look in the center is good. No pass-through is a con for me because you do lose a lot of real estate. The door panels are not that bad with storage capabilities, and the bigger problems really lie that you have to option every single feature. So the vehicle will start at a low MSRP, but by the time you feature it up, this thing can go well over $80,000 quick. And when I'm thinking competition around that price point, you're going to get a little bit more luxury and performance that's standard, but it's not going to have the capabilities for the off-road side, in which that's what makes the Range Rover a little bit more unique, especially if you don't want to go all the way up into a Range Rover Sport. You want to get the mid-grade vehicle, this is the way to go. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise, website, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like. And I'd like to thank Land Rover Tampa for giving us this 2025 Range Rover Velar Dynamic SE for our car review.